bros don't support bros. I know you're not a bro.
No, I'm not.
I guess you definitely have a bit of your perspective on this issue. So welcome again, Nana. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Jude.
So bros don't support bros.
They
What do you
don't
think
at
that
all.
means?
I think it's to do with men essentially not being able to be vulnerable with each other and not being able to. They can't call their bros to tell them that this is happening, that's happening. There's always that. I feel like there's always that hesitancy because I guess you don't want to bruise your ego. I don't know what it is. Because I say this, that the people that I'm most honest with are my girls. So I love them die. Like if there's anything happening at any given point, like for me, they're my first point of call.
It's good to have the support network, trust me.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
At all.
Anything was happening to me, I don't have bros to run to.
But it's funny because I feel like I see you there, you're in quite a healthy, it appears like you have a healthy male group that you hang out with, in my opinion.
Is that a Silver Force thing?
Yeah, because you're always taking pictures, you guys go out, you spend time together.
That's where it ends.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I'm not hiding it. If I was lying, my dudes would put me up on this.
So there's no emotional support there?
No, there's no
So
emotional
if you're
support.
going through something,
no.
You don't pick up the phone?
Yeah, maybe one or two of them would rant, but we don't just pick up the phone to call to talk about that situation. We would have been talking about something else and they would just crop in. But it's not only about talking about situation, it's also about the support that you get.
Of
so
course.
We don't support each other. It ends at talking and that's where it ends.
And that's it. There's
and
nothing else.
Some of us then go through that phase for a couple of times and think there's no point bringing it up because the point of bringing up situations is for you to get support, either emotional support or actual physical support, but you don't get that. So for me, my experience is I'm closer to female friends. They will listen attentively and maybe offer support. And it could be physical support in the sense that they carry out the actions they want to help you with or just point you to the right place. So for me, bros are not really bros. So no. I've been in situations where things have happened that would have melted me down emotionally and psychologically. And the only people who turned up were the women in my life, like the friends and female friends and all, including,
But I
would have honest conversations with them.
Yeah, but I always say it's quite interesting, right? Because I always see, I think men tend to essentially they put their male relationship on a pedestal. And a lot of the times they do things to appease their male friends. But then when the nitty-gritty hits, I don't see them running and going towards them.
No.
Which I find very, very strange. Because I do a comparison, actually, just between, when I see, male friendship in comparison to my female friendships. And I'm like, bro, my girls are my girls. There's no money. Don't go. I mean, there's no money. I'm not doing that.
There might be some out there.
And sometimes I'll be like, there's no money or there's thing. And they will literally be like, oh, do you want me to send you money?
Oh, wow. I wish I was a female now.
No, honestly. And I've had those conversations. There's been times where I remember really during, just before I got my training contract, right? And I had to do a presentation. My babe stayed on the phone. I did a presentation 5 times. She was like, this is rubbish. This is this. You need to do this. You need to do that. And even quite recently, yesterday I had an interview and she was literally there's a big time difference. She lives in America, 5-hour time difference. My interview was at midday. And even me, when I spoke to her, I was like, I don't want to call you in the morning and disturb you. She was like, I beg, call me. She's like, call me when you're just before your interview, call me and we can run through things. It was 6 a.m. her time. I called her, she picked up.
It's amazing.
We run through the interview questions.
I think for guys though, it's that competitive nature. They don't want you to catch up with the other ones. So for me, most of my dudes, I don't even know what they do for a living. Trust me, I ain't lying. My dudes will be watching this. I don't know what to do. For me, they know what I do because I put it out there.
Yeah.
I'm a social worker. Yeah. I talk about it with them. I talk about it everywhere. But if you ask me, some of those dudes you said you saw the pictures, what they actually do for a living, I don't know. Because they don't talk about it. So the answer don't know. And it's also, we're very more secretive to each other than to the females. So I think it's about that competition that they want you to hear that, oh, they got 5 houses there or they got that business running there, but they will never get involved. Say I was to go, you went to your female friend to say you've come out of contract and they were helping you prepare for the day. So if I was to tell a friend, one of the dudes that I don't have a job right now, the next 6 months, no one will point you towards where you get a job.
Really?
And even if you have to do that alone. And even when it came to the time to have an interview, none of them will prepare you for that.
Okay.
So the people I would do that for, I wouldn't call them, they're not my friends, but they're not those friends that you will see on a day-to-day basis. It will be people who know that, okay, Jude is good at doing this thing, and you just call you out of the blue and say, hey, can you help me with this? And I will do it. But those bros you actually call your bros, you really can't go to them to discuss anything. You really can't go to them to set up anything with them. You really can't go to them to talk about your mental health. And I've been telling a few of them recently, I said, because I think one of us, the dad died, and they formed a group very quick, raising money. And within hours, they raised a lot of money. Did contribute at the end of it all. I called one of them and said, I'm broke at this period, but I'll give you before the funeral. And I did. But I did say to them, we need to change the perspective of coming to each other's aid when it's too late. We need to be able to help each other when we're here. Because there's another group that I belong to, and they're from an area where I grew up. And what they do, I like a lot. These boys are based in America. I'm the only one who's based in the UK in that group. What they do is identify someone who needs help from our people back home, and then they respond to help them. That's how you should do it. You don't bury them.
Okay,
you help them to avoid them being dead.
But I'll be quite interested. So when the death happened, right? I guess the person that was close to you guys, who had experienced that death of a close family friend, what emotional support did you give them as a group? It's not that you just went and you said,
no emotional support.
So you guys just gave them the money and that's it.
Yeah. So a typical example would be when my brother died. You guys were aware when my brother died.
Yeah.
And support came through. I don't think I had any support emotionally, physically, financially, psychologically, or otherwise from my bros. They were nowhere to be found. And when they finally turned up to the house, maybe months later, it was like,
you had already essentially really dealt with the trauma.
Get over it. You need to come out, Jude. Because then I was really isolated. I didn't want to come out. That's when I put every notification off my phone. I didn't want to really interact with anyone. And it was like, you can't continue like this. You need to come out. That's how much bro support, bro.
So they told you to get out the rut, essentially. Yeah. But they didn't give you the tools to get out the rut. So they didn't come and say that.
No.
Which is interesting because
the ones who came through will be the ones you didn't think they would do it. They know you're close. Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. So a lot of men will talk about, mental health. Let's talk about it. When you talk about your mental health, then you're weak.
Yeah.
When you talk about you cry, they think you're weak. I've never told any of my friends that I do cry. Maybe the first time I will find out is on this video. But I do cry a lot. I can tell my female friends. And my female friends will say, it's okay to cry.
It is.
Because you're human.
It's a normal emotion.
The dudes will never, ever know that I do cry. If they knew, they would laugh. I encourage people to cry. I tell my boys, my sons, it's okay as a guy to cry. Be vulnerable, be weak, show those emotions.
It's a healthy emotion to experience. You can't go through life being happy all the time. And as somebody who typically, I'm speaking from my own perspective now, I suppress a lot of my emotions. And I call her my rider. My rider always tells me, no, it's not healthy. All this thing that you don't say anything, you'll be keeping everything inside of you. One day you blow up. Yeah, and when sometimes I'm like, I just feel like crying. She'll be like, cry. Do just that.
That's what I do. And I think my job has helped me let out those emotions. I'm a social worker, so you can't just bottle all of that in.
Of course not.
It's also being able to manage that as well. But trust me, bros are not for bros. I've been with a bro who I talked about my problem a lot that was happening at that time. Because after my brother's death, went into debt and all of that. And this dude would just listen the whole day and walk away. I'll be like, help me, I'm shouting here, help me. And then this dude would turn around and said, oh, it was a female friend from a long time. I just gave them 1K. I'm like, I've been screaming, yeah, man. Are you deaf?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. We don't get that.
But is that because in their minds as well, they feel like if they offer you money, perhaps they're bruising your ego as well?
It's not that. It's just that competitiveness that you're down, I'm up. So get over it. It's a guy thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not every...
But even with your friends? Because I can understand that with normal people.
We brandish the word friends around, but who are your friends really? What does that really mean?
Because for me...
you hang out to drink or you hang out to have barbecues?
Fair enough.
This is how it happened with dudes. Like I said earlier, if I picked up my phone now and called dudes and say, you know what, I really need chill with somebody now just to talk to them. Everybody's calendar will be booked. But let me just say, these are the dude is having a barbecue and he wants us to be there. Within 5 minutes, everyone's calendar will be open. So we just gather to waste instead of gather to really build.
So that means that your friendship is quite superficial then.
I think that's what it is.
If it's just on the surface, and I can only call my boys when we need to hang out and have a good time.
That's what it is.
But when I'm in the when life is dealing with me.
No, I don't think a lot of them will be able to put their hands on their chest and say, "Yeah, when I'm done, I really can count on people." I was at a concert where Jay Electronica came to London, and he said something about Jay-Z when he was really down. I think he lost his mom or his grandma. I don't remember who he lost. And how Jay-Z opened his door for him, and 2 years or so he was with Jay-Z. It said something like that. So that's not there. You know?
Okay.
So you can say you have a space. I once told a guy who was going through a lot, I said, you had a lot of friends when you had money. I don't want to mention his name. I said, now you're going through a lot. Go through your phone list. The first 100, call everyone and tell them what you're going through and see who turns up. And he said, truth be told, I don't think anyone will turn up. He found out the hard way, and he had to isolate himself, and he left London. And he's not in London any longer, and he caught a lot of those so-called friends and bros he thought were his friends.
I mean,
when the going is good, you get them around.
Because it's because you're a fair-weathered friend. If you only want to be around me when things are good.
That's the way most of us were brought up, though.
Really?
Because for me, right? To hide things from each other, and not to be open and not to assist each other.
I say this for me, right? Because perhaps I can only speak for myself. Like, I don't think I've ever really sat down and had this feeling of being jealous of somebody. Never experienced it. Don't know what it feels like. Like, literally never ever had this experience. It's just not something I've experienced. And not that jealousy is a bad thing. I think jealousy is a normal human emotion.
It is
but I've never actually been there and be like, sat down and be like, I feel jealous about somebody. Never had that experience. So when I have my friendship, I put my all. For me, it's authentic friendship. Like, there is no competition. I want you to do well. So, sometimes like I see when I'm trying to get to know people, and I realize that perhaps they have this sort of like, because especially when you're brought up back home, there's this jealous competitive spirit. Almost as if, you're fake friends, essentially. They're your friends, but actually you want to do better than them.
That's exactly what it is.
They can't outperform you. I don't have an issue if my girls outperform me personally, because I want you to do well. And honestly, that's my wish for you. And I never feel any type of way if I feel like my friends are doing better than me. I'm actually genuinely happy.
I think honestly, that's.
So when people flip it, and sometimes they're like, "Oh yeah, perhaps it's because this is happening. That's how Nana's distant on her." I'm like, babe, I beg, no, because that's not where my mind is. I'm like, bruv, I'm probably not as out there and speaking to you all the time as I used to, because I'm probably going through it.
Of course.
And I'm dealing with my own things.
A lot of people are going through it. So it could be the reason why bros are not there for bros. But at the time when you approach a bro and you start talking about things going on,
but the difference is,
they should then maybe open up and say, you know what, I'm going through the same, but we can't support each other through just talking, or this is what I did when it happened. But that doesn't happen. That don't happen when you really need them. Trust me. And in my places of work, I've always been closer to the female colleagues than the male, because they're the only ones who really listen. And say, okay, this is what you're going for. And from my experience, I think the females always turn up for each other compared to guys. Guys think just blowing the testosterone out there, drinking and hanging out at clubs, they think that's really being there for each other. That's not.
Honestly,
I've forgotten which of the rappers said. I think it was McMill, who came to his senses and said, he's down there dying for bros who would not even send his children $20 if he was locked up. And that's the true definition of bros. That's how bros really act. Which one would really turn up?
In your time of need.
If you were incarcerated or you were somewhere else. Or would they be trying to run through your family instead of really helping? That's what it is, because of that nature of how they were brought up, that competitive spirit. Like I said, my bros can check me out on this. I don't really know what to do.
That's very worrying.
And when you bring business opportunities out, like say I'm running this show, they're quick to point out who else is doing it. That's not a lie.
So what they don't? I mean, essentially, like, because I remember when I started being on the show, and I told my God, they used to repost the videos all the time, not because of anything, just because of support, because they're supporting what you do, and they would tune in, like, they don't really watch YouTube live videos. But because I was on there, they would make an effort to know that, oh yeah, your show is coming on at 8 o'clock or 8:30. They would tune in.
I don't think any of my dudes have seen my video. They're quicker posting videos. No, they're quicker coming to me to say, oh, this dude from Nigeria called and say, what's up with him? He talks a lot. Is he a professor now? But then I then turn around and ask, have you seen the video yourself? I will make time to watch it. No, I don't ever see them liking it. Not that I go check the likes, but you would know.
You would know, of course. Yeah,
but the things I know they've supported and generated interest is when we just dress up with cigars and whiskey. So you understand where bros
so that
the mindset really is. We don't build each other. That's where I'm going.
I guess then that's where your friendship begins and ends.
Yeah, that's why you then tend to stay away and don't really come out.
Of course, I get that.
You come out once in a while.
No, I agree with that, because if you make it very clear that our friendship is superficial and is only based on literally when you want to do something fun, then I'm not actually your friend, because when I'm going through the thick of it, you're not there.
It's when they talk about Ubuntu as well. I say that's a farce. It doesn't really exist amongst us. We just like to bandy words around there and say there's nothing like that. It's nothing like togetherness.
But I find that it's something quite interesting, because like my friend and I having this conversation about how men will do bro. But when they're in like going through it,
it's the story
they're not calling their bros.
No, it's the story
because it always happens. Yeah. They would then call people that, in my opinion, you're not that close to.
Exactly.
Who are in most cases they're female, and then you're not that close to, asking them for help and for support. Yes. And I'm sitting there thinking, why are you not calling your bro that you were hailing up and down?
If you call your bros, probably the town hall meeting will find out what you was going through. If you told that female, nobody else will hear.
Yeah, okay.
The bros will spread that news very quick. It's why I tend to do things that I do by myself, so I don't get into trouble. I just do my own things. I don't get involved with group things. Yeah, sometimes they call you for barbecue, you go. I do barbecues, I call people out, you come. But say in terms of bros supporting bros, mental health wise, emotionally, psychologically, none of that is there.
Yeah.
None of that is there. That competitive spirit is there. They don't. So you're asking somebody, how did you do this thing? I'm about to do the same thing. Can you advise me on it? That alone is like an attack on them.
Why?
They will evade that for as long as they can. You just asking questions, bro. I know you've done that thing. I want to have a discussion with you. No, it won't work. Trust me.
That is very strange. Yeah, see, I'm finding it quite difficult, because I like I said, if anyone, I think quite recently one of my girls called me and she wants to go into law, and I was very honest with her. We sat down and had a conversation. I was like, how's your GCSE? Like, how's your A-level? She was like, oh, I didn't really finish. I started a foundation degree and I didn't finish. And I was like, okay, so I was like, you have to look at your options. Are you going back to do your A-level? She was like, ideally, no. I was like, well, we looking at access courses. We literally had a conversation, and then she was like, oh, she was like, oh, can I have your law books? And I was like, honestly, my law books are in Milton Keynes. I was like, if you can go there and go and pack it, you can have it. But for me to go to Milton Keynes and go and pack it for you, and she wasn't even in London at that time. She's moved to Birmingham. I was like, I'll be honest with you, I can't do that job. But if you actually want it, and I was like, if there's a weekend that you can come down, I'm more than happy to come down and help you, like, take it. But I'm not going to bring it to you. I was honest about that. But I was like, if you want it. And I remember we had a long conversation where I told her about the reality of it. And then that was literally, like, I have no interest in being a gatekeeper.
You're lucky that you
I have no interest in being a gatekeeper for anything. Because I want you to do well.
Oh.
Genuinely want you to do well. I don't think all bros
want all bros to do well. You can see the competitive spirit.
I don't want to be at the top, and then everybody else is basically.
I'm not degrading women here. Let's look at the oldest trade, as they call it, sex work.
Yeah.
Girls are on the street. I don't say girls don't have conflict.
Yeah.
But you can see like 20 girls in one street for the same business. You've not heard anyone killed anyone because maybe you're taking my business. Then come to the boys. One is standing on the street corner selling weed. The other one on the other side. The 2 weeks time they've stabbed each other because you're on my turf. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So we withhold resources from each other. If a bro was out of work, you hear the story in the town hall how he's struggling to feed his family. You won't hear about who pointed into the right direction to get another job. And I'm going to say it on camera. I count myself as one of those few who would sit down with anyone, have a lengthy conversation, Yeah, I think it's just the nature of my job as well, my life, because of what I've been doing. That's what we do. We sit down and listen to people.
And listen to people, yeah.
They rant, they scream, they shout, and we look for solutions.
And you look for
That's
solutions
what a
for
social
them.
worker does. And that's just my nature. So social work then added to that. That's why I do that. And dudes know I'm on TV saying it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
They can point me out and put comments and say I was lying. I'll do that for them.
Yeah.
But you can't pour out on anyone. You don't have those ones you can pour out on.
Yeah. So that's rather unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. It's loads of bros out there will go through the same thing. So when I see like the young man who died recently.
Which one?
It was on Ellen DeGeneres show.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the one commits suicide.
Yeah, black guy.
Yeah, black guy.
Yeah, a lot of our brothers here writing, bros should come out and talk more. Bros should do this more. Bros should. I just laugh. I'm like, you guys are hypocrites. Your bro closest to you, you're the one who first laugh at them.
Yeah, when they tell you. And that, I think, and that's another thing that I also don't understand. It's almost as if like when their boys are going through it, instead of supporting them, they'll just be like, get out of this rut, What are you doing? You're a man now. You cannot be doing this. You need to toughen up.
Yeah. So that toughen up, stiffen up your upper chin. What does that mean?
Because that doesn't solve anything.
No, it doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. So bros are not really there for bros. The camaraderie you see, that all of that men testosterone going around bottles and
so it's just all a facade then.
It is a facade.
Because essentially we're just meeting up, let's drink, let's talk.
I was in a club recently because some dude came from Canada that I needed to see. I haven't seen him for a long time. One of the dudes they offered to buy me a bottle of Glenfiddich because I just turned up. They've had proper drinks and all.
Yeah.
I turned him down.
Yeah.
Because if he was going to purchase that bottle, it would have cost him about 100 plus.
Yeah.
In that club. That's the price.
Yeah.
And I said no. And I jokingly said, if I was asking you for that and said I was broke,
you
wouldn't give it to me. Why do you want to waste it on alcohol? And I'm not joking. I am saying this on camera. Don't watch it. This is my nature. That's what I do. It's not that I don't accept kindness. I'm trying to really accept kindness with people when they offer them. But this is what I tell dudes. I don't want Glenfiddich. Oh, no, I'll buy it if you want. I said, thank you much. I like Glenfiddich. Mm-hmm. I'll prefer to go buy it when I get home and buy it cheap at the supermarket and drink at home. You spending 150 or 120 for it, I don't need it. Because if I was broke at that time and I asked you for 50 quid, you ain't giving it to me. You'd be like, go sit down. Come on, you look at how you dress on. I told a dude.
Yeah.
He lives in Manchester. I told him, I said, I need £20 from you. That happened just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And he called me and said, was that text message from you? I said, yes, it was from me. He's like, I don't believe you. I'm like, I do need £20. Better believe it. He said, no. He said, you on Instagram and all of that. I'm like,
what does that got to do with
I'm not joking. I said, did you call me to say that? Is it because all of that you see? I look good as a human being already. It's my mom's genetics. I look good. Whether I'm hungry, I'm not. And I told him off. And I was like, really, and he dropped the phone. He didn't give me the 20 quid because he didn't believe my story. But if I went to a female colleague, can you help me with 50 quid?
They would have given it.
They don't question whether I look good. I just posted a bottle of whiskey on Instagram.
Actually,
my female friends don't do that.
Yeah.
They don't question that.
Yeah.
And that's how I'll give you back so and so time and they'll believe it.
Yeah.
So that's what bros do. But if I was saying, bros, come, there's a barbecue somewhere, they'll bring a box of alcohol. That's not support. That's not how you support bros. Like somebody said, is you just put them up poison and what's in your already tense situation.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So sometimes you need that support outside of your home environment.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking about it. Is it a thing of perhaps performing for an audience? Because if you come to a barbecue and you have like a box of
is performing for the audience. We're good at that.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about it. That's exactly what it is.
Bros say it's women who do that. I'm like, I've known women, I've known men.
Yeah.
Men are the worst. They do that. We do show off more than the women.
Yeah. I say that.
The women are real. They're down.
That I agree.
I'm not saying that women don't have their flaws, but
they do.
Guys do a lot of show off down.
For each other. And it's because they like the validation from each other. Yeah. That's something I've picked up on that.
That's the word.
Men like to validate each other. It's the word.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, validation. And it's quite interesting.
It's
because I'm speaking from as a woman, like watching essentially men interact, and I see it happen all the time. Yeah. Whereby one-on-one, you'd be with like a guy who's a friend, and they're so lovely, and then they get into like the space with their boys, and then it's almost like they'll be validating each other's behavior.
Yeah.
And you can see almost like it's like, especially I've seen it when it's like a competition thing.
It is that. It is what it is.
And it's very strange.
And if you look at the whole...
And I'm like, are you people friends or enemies?
and again, it's very particular with... I'm not putting race here, but it's particular with black men.
Okay.
You need to look at the hip-hop scene.
Yeah.
Why do they kill themselves?
Yeah.
It's competition and all of that. Why do you do that?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's particular to black men. It's that competitive spirit. It is evil, but we don't know yet. We don't support each other. We don't build each other. We're very quick to tear each other down.
Yeah.
We're quick at tearing each other down. That's true. We only come when the person has died and pour that false emotions and, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. He was talking about this in his last video, blah, blah, blah. Only few out there really do what they do to support each other.
To support each other. Okay.
Yeah. The community of men, man. This is what it is. Recently, I've forgotten the actor. He was talking about another actor. Forgotten the actor who saw Tom Cruise, and said when he saw Tom Cruise, he was in awe and he went to pay homage. Yeah. And this actor was a big actor too. I'm like, if that was black men, I don't need to go far. You saw Will Smith and Chris Rock. Was it Chris Rock? The one that got slapped on the stage. Yeah, it was Chris Rock, right? I believe it was. So this is two black actors. That's my opinion when I talk about those things. They're both actors, they're both comedians, they're both black celebs. They should have been supporting each other. One was tearing one down and he got up and slapped him. Yeah. The whites don't do that. But I think also... They support each other, they big up each other. Because I was going to say, I think it was also a thing of... You don't speak on my... Essentially, his low ego was bruised. Why are you speaking on my wife? Yeah, that's... But which, in my opinion, I feel like Chris Rock should have known better. Yeah, that's my opinion. So you shouldn't go there because you're tearing your brother down. How many times have you heard Tom Cruise tearing another actor's wife down? A white actor. It's a no-go. But why are we quick to do that? So bros are not really for bros. Bros don't support. But it's high time bros stand up for bros. And alcohol is not the way to stand up for each other. Dancing in the club and spending money is not the way to stand up for each other. No. Yeah, those things are... You can still do that. Yeah, of course, man. But it shouldn't stop and end there. But when your bros turn up and say, this is what I'm going through, we should be able to find ways to say, how can we help? I would prefer dudes support dudes when they're alive. Yeah, than when they're dead. Than when they're dead. Seems like in our community, we get more support when we're dead than when we're alive. Yeah, which is. And you can see it in the language. It's not hidden. It's like, oh, he did mention this. He did mention that. I know, because when my brother died, was when he came to the fore. I was blind, but I saw a lot of things. I was like, wow, it's a lonely freaking place to be. Yeah. It was like no one really understood what was going on, or they didn't know how to really act. I don't know. Some were just distant, so. You then put things in perspective and begin to see the clearer picture, like, oh wow, this is what it really is. So it's a lonely place to be a guy, trust me, especially a black guy. Bros, don't support bros. They don't.